So we're going to talk a little bit about why it's imperative that you have and fulfill the vision for your life, and essentially what that will really mean for other people, and how that will ultimately get paid forward just by you realizing what's possible for yourself. When I work with individuals, I find there's a couple things that keep people oftentimes from naming and fulfilling a vision for their life. And a lot of times it has to do with the people that are around them. We might aspire to something really significant, really great. We might want to, make more money, pursue a new career. We might want to get in great shape and better our health. And when we make these declarations for ourselves and you go, man, I really want to create XYZ for myself, regardless of what that looks like, oftentimes your environment isn't on board with that, because your current life circumstances and your current environment is the byproduct of where you've been in the past. It's not necessarily bad, it's not necessarily good, it's just supporting where you're at and where you've been. And so if I want to go beyond where I am, whether that's increasing my finances, creating more abundance, getting healthier, getting more fit, having better relationships, contributing to the world in some way, right? Like be of service in some capacity where you're doing something meaningful and making a difference in people's lives. Like whatever the aspiration is, whatever the impulse is that you have that's tied to your vision, your current environment may not support that. And I find that holds a lot of people back because they start looking at sort of what they see they're losing. And they go, well, my family and my friends and my current environment is a little agitated with me changing, and they don't want me to change, and they're not on board with what I'm up to, and I'm spending a little less time with people that I care about potentially. And at first there's a little bit of opposition from those that we think would be in our corner, right? The people that we love and the people that we should think that care about us the most, have this negative reaction to you deciding you're going to positively change and grow and kind of create a vision for your life and fulfill something greater than you know. And it's not that these individuals don't care for you, it's just that change sort of ignites fear inside of people, right? It's just sort of a natural response to change for our nervous system to go into fight or flight and to fear change a little bit because it really likes status quo. And so when you start behaving differently than is normal for people, people start going, wait a minute, I didn't give you permission to change. I didn't say you could be different. We used to hang out and eat pizza and watch movies 4 times a night, and now you're having a salad and I'm having pizza by myself. I don't like this, right? You're reminding me maybe of my own inadequacies and how I'm not striving to be better. And now these places where we used to connect, we're not connecting in the same way, right? And so we've got to be prepared for those moments. Or perhaps, another space that tends to keep people from fulfilling vision is the doubt that we may have in ourselves. Like, man, I doubt that I can fulfill this. Who am I to go out and live an extraordinary life? Like, who am I to go, reinvent myself or evolve beyond where I am? Am I really capable of that? And sometimes like some self-doubt will show up at times. And the reality is somewhere on the journey, self-doubt will show up. And if we hear that whisper and we let that sort of, be too loud, all of a sudden we can cater to that doubt as opposed to realizing the vision that's possible for our life, for your life. And so, the other things that come up is like as we're pursuing vision, we name what we want to create, we encounter some challenges, right? Some things moments where the path or the journey toward what we want to fulfill is more difficult than we anticipated. And we're faced with that sense of, or that space of, am I going to persevere through and beyond this moment of difficulty and kind of dig in and find within me what it takes to go ahead and get to the next level? You have it within you. A part of you knows that, because if you name a vision for what you'd like to fulfill, you name an outcome, a result you want to attain, I firmly believe and know that you wouldn't think it, you wouldn't name it if you weren't capable of achieving it. Like, period, end of story. Like your unconscious self, right? Your spiritual self, if you want to think of it that way, would not name something or aspire to something that you can't fulfill or that's not possible to fulfill. And so what I find is we got to get leverage on ourselves if we're going to realize the vision that's possible for our life. And so the 2 key things we've got to do is, number 1, give yourself permission to name the vision for life that you want to live for and really go for it. Because so many people, they look at the current circumstances of their life and they sort of think, well, how can I leverage what I've got in front of me here to get what I want? And to create vision, you got to abandon where you are. And an exercise that I often will engage in, myself is I'll go, hey, if I had to start all over today and I had nothing available to me that I have currently, and I was starting from scratch, what would I create? What would I aspire to? Who would I become? And what would I do? What impact would I create in the world? What result or outcome would I strive to achieve? How would I live my lifestyle? What kind of relationships would I have if I was starting from ground zero, like all over again? And then I engage that exercise as though I'm creating and I've got nothing in front of me. And then oftentimes what I find I'll do is I'll name some things that I currently have in my life, and it sort of lets me know I'm on track with those things as the fulfillment of life that I'm looking for, vision fulfilled, if you will. And then always there are some things that occur to me that I would love to be up to, or I'd love to experience, or I'd love to create that I'm not currently engaging in. And so once I name that vision and that target, then my job is to look at my current dynamics and go, how do I go from where I am to what I want to achieve? Which is different than going, hey, what do I currently have going on? And what am I allowed to create from here? What do I see as possible from where I'm at? Instead, go to where you want to go with your life, with vision, who you want to become, and just let your imagination run wild. Give yourself permission to believe in any possibility. Name the vision for life you aspire to, who it is you want to become, what it is you want to be up to, what are the outcomes and results you want to achieve, and then commit to the outcome first without even knowing how it's going to happen. And really start creating the design for your life using your own imagination, your own creativity, and understand that everything begins as it pertains to life creation and vision from the imagining it before it ever happens. Imagining life into form and seeing it before you can ever achieve it, pursue it, and manifest it. And so once you see vision, once you can see an outcome, or once you commit to a result you want to achieve, then we go, great, what are my steps from here to achieve that outcome? But my orientation and my context is the bullseye called vision. That's the mark that I'm making decisions from and that I'm having inform the actions I need to take from where I'm at. And then once you know what that mark is, once you know what vision is, now the second piece is, let's get clear on why that vision is so important. And we are hardwired within our nervous system to do more for others than we'll do for ourselves. If we think back, a long time ago when our nervous systems were being formed and developed, like your nervous system is thousands of years old if we look at human evolution. And the reality is, before technology and the modernization of civilization, which is really only a few hundred years old, it's like if you were in nature by yourself and you had to find your own food and you had to defend yourself against, creatures much stronger than you, the likelihood of your survival, you against nature, is very slim, right? Like back in the days, actually, one of the greatest punishments was not necessarily death, it was being cast out from community, and you were meant to survive in the wilderness all by yourself without the support of community, without the support of the tribe, so to speak, because 5 of you against a mountain lion probably wins. One-on-one, you're probably in trouble, right? Or like if there's a community of individuals and some are building shelters and some are hunting and some are taking care of people who are sick, and you've got this collaboration going on, the likelihood you survive is much more likely. So you are hardwired to do far more for others than you'll do for yourself. Think of a mom and her child, right? A mother will oftentimes find it within herself to do what is necessary for the well-being of her child, despite what it means for her, right? In terms of what she may have to go through, or what she may have to lose, or what she may have to sacrifice. Like all of a sudden there's a child in the picture and we're willing to do way more for them than we would for ourselves. When we get into thinking about our parents or our siblings, like a lot of times we'll give them money to do things with that money that we would never do, right? It's like because we want to see their pain go away and things like this. And so leverage that. Understand that when you come face to face with your personal challenges on the route to your vision, which will come up, that's just part of how we grow, or you meet the resistance from those who are around you and care about you, but they're just not in support of you. They can't get behind the belief in the way you hold it for yourself, right? What you've got to do in that moment is know why you're pursuing vision for them. And so what I mean by that is, if you grow and become a better version of yourself, you're going to be better in your relationships, and your relationships are going to grow. You're going to deepen those connections, and you're actually growing for your relationship. And they may not see that right away, but your significant other and your children and your friends whom initially may respond in a negative way to your commitment to change will eventually benefit from the evolved you as you're able to show up as that evolved version of yourself with them, and the relationship's going to deepen and they're going to appreciate that. And when you create a new outcome for yourself, more money, better health, more vitality, more inspiration, on and on and on. It's like, go on adventures, you start taking trips, like whatever your vision is, everybody starts seeing that. And when they see you did it and they know who you were before you accomplished and evolved beyond yourself, it immediately now presents the option to them. Perhaps they can grow within themselves. They can too do it too. And so when you create for yourself, it gives others permission. It gives others an option to fulfill the vision for their life because you went and did it. They go, maybe I can do that too. And then finally, when you look at creating leverage on yourself, and doing more for others than you will for yourself, understand that when you evolve yourself for the better and you create more resources, you are going to contribute to the world and to humanity at a much higher impact reality than you are currently. And so like if I've got $1,000 and I want to serve or donate money, maybe I can give $100, 10%. But if I've got $1 million, I can contribute $100,000. And if you're becoming the best version of yourself and you become more loving and more, calm and more centered and more compassionate, and you grow within yourselves in these ways and more patient, all of a sudden everybody you interact with in your life is all of a sudden benefiting because you fulfilled your vision. And so oftentimes we can get into a relationship where we think about fulfilling the vision for our life and we go, hey, I don't deserve that. Who am I to think I can have that? We don't believe in ourselves. We go into the doubt. And then we really take something away from others, from the people you love and care about, and from the world, because the world never gets to realize your evolved self, your ultimate self, if you don't design the life you could live and really go for it. They never get to know the best version of you. And the world and the people closest to you, 100%, deserve to know and interact with and get to see the best version of yourself, because you and your friends and the world around you all benefits when you grow. And so give yourself permission to put yourself first, put your vision first, and really dare to see what you can achieve. Because the life that's possible for you is truly better than you could possibly imagine. You've just got to start taking action in the direction of what's possible and believe that it will occur and follow it up with a bit of consistency.